each property and place in its own individual land trust. So every property has its own individual land trust. We've already established that for you. We're going to pay all of the recording and transfer fees to get the property in that land trust. That's basically closing costs. We're going to pay all of that money that it takes to get the property transferred into the name of that land trust. We're also going to, for the 25-9, we're also going to pay all the past due taxes, liens, levies, judgments, and utilities on the property. That's a big one because some of them are very small, some of them are very large. Okay, but we can win that through the averages. If we sell 100 homes at a time, we'll take a certain amount of money out of that 25-9, escrow it to the side, and we're going to pay all those taxes. So it equals out an average number much better for us because we do big volume. So we'll be glad to do that. Also, we're going to do that, the home inspection we talked about. We're going to secure the property with a lockbox. We're going to post a for sale sign on the property. We're going to do that 21-point home inspection. We're going to take interior and exterior pictures. We're going to post a for sale sign. We're going to put on a lockbox. We're going to place all of that data and information on our website at myplace.us, so you can now see all of that information. So we've got all those processes done for you for 25 now. And so now for 25 now. So now we've got the property for sale with a local number on the sign. So those people are going to start to call in. Calls are going to be generated. Here's another great thing we do. I think it's great if you've ever had any rentals, tried to do or done it, FSBOs, for sale by owners. If you do them yourself, we're going to have a call center. We're going to take every one of those incoming calls. So we're going to answer every one of those inbound calls and try to sell that property for you. So they're not going to be calling you, say, hey, I saw you have a house in Iowa. It looks great. What do you think about that? So we're going to do all those calls for you and try to sell those people those properties. When we sell them, these properties, you're going to not pay any additional commission when the end user buys on a rent-to-own basis. If they do that little money down, little per month, whatever that is, and do a rent-to-own contract, no additional commission. It's all included in the 25-9. If we sell the property for cash for you, it's an additional 10% of the deal. And I say that like this. I pay it, I tell you to pay it because we give it straight to our sales team. And here's why. Say it like that. You want your sales team, I would think, incentivized by 10 points trying to get that cash sale up as high as they can. So if someone offers $50,000 on a house that you pay $25,900 for, will you give my guys $5,000? That's the question. The answer to that should be, oh yeah. How many times have you let me do that? That's the answer to that. So if it's a cash deal, an additional 10%, but there are no additional commission. It's all included in the original purchase price from you for $25,900 if we sell on a rent-to-own basis. Now here's a couple things that make us a lot different. We're going to go through that process. Now the person's moved into the home. They pay their down payment. They've moved into the property. They're starting to pay their monthly payments. A couple days after they've gotten into that house, our mortgage department's going to call them and say, hey, we'd like to evaluate you for a mortgage to see if you can get qualified for an FHA or any kind of mortgage that can get you true ownership, no longer renting, but true ownership to that property. So we're going to ask them, and all the closing costs, this will be at no cost to you. Your rate will be cheaper if we can get you approved. For example, right now on a $400 a month example, which we're going to use, the new payment would be around a little over $320 per month. So their monthly payments are going to fall. They're going to be the permanent owners. They're no longer renting. They really got a house. And we're going to try to do all that at no cost. And we also, in our agreement, say that the owner of the property, whether it's you or me, are going to pay all the closing costs for that individual. Now, let me say it like this. Would you pay $3,000 in closing costs if that end user got a mortgage approved for $60,000 on one of these houses you bought from us for $25,900? Sure. How many times did you do that? There's the answer to that. As many times as we could. So they're usually going to say, see what?
What's the cost and prepaid? Get it all.
Yeah, we get it all. So we're going to try to get them approved for that mortgage. Most of the individuals say, sure, we'd love you to do that. Now, we try to do that if they get that approval process. We're going to run through the mortgage process. A lot of the times they don't get approved for mortgages, right? Why don't they get approved for mortgages? Credit. So, in the $25,900 that you pay for your properties, we are including prepaying the credit repair for your customers and mine. At the end of the day, once they don't get approved for mortgage, we're actually going to roll them in credit repair the credit report period the day that they sign up for the rent-to-own contract. So you want to try to get their credit score up to help them qualify for that mortgage. Because you want them to cash flow, paying rent, but you really want that cash out, right? This is yes, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to show you why in a minute. So that's all the things that you get. We're a one-stop shop. We do provide all these services for $25,900 on any of the houses that you pick in the next room. So, remember we talked about being the bank. It's better to be the bank than being in real estate, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right. So here are some of the benefits of being the bank. Number one, if we do it on a rent-to-own contract, basically owner financing options that we have available, the end user is going to make all the improvements to the property. They're going to do all that. That's what they get. They get the opportunity to put the sweat equity into that, to invest a little money in the property, but it's the same price or less than they were paying for rent. That's the key. So they get the opportunity. They're going to look at replace the nasty carpet or fix the hole in the wall or paint the wall. They're going to do those type of improvements to that property. And for you, you've got to think like a banker, because this is where a lot of people, especially if they're in real estate, have heartburn. And I don't know why, because I'm looking at it from a banking side, not from a real estate side. Here's the deal. Does anybody in here have a mortgage? Anybody? Just one guy, okay. This guy here's got a mortgage. So the economy must be really good in Louisville. So you've got a mortgage. So when you get a hole in your wall and your window or door messes up, do you call your mortgage company and go, hey, I need you to come over here and fix this hole in the wall and address these issues? If you did that, do you think they would come over and help you?
No.
No. Because why? Because they're the bank, right? And who owns property?
I do.
You do, right? You think you do? Right? Right. Okay. So right there you go. So it's the same exact thing. So it's just like we do every day. I don't know why people have heartburn with that, because they shouldn't. The end user are going to make improvements to their house. Okay, it's your property. You're the owner, right? The bank really owns the property, right? But they're going to do the improvements. Also, the pride of ownership is a big deal. These folks have moved from a rental situation to a potential ownership situation. They've done improvements to the property. They've got sweat equity into the property. So they don't, and it's cheaper or the same price that they were paying for rent. There's no cheaper alternative out there. So what are they going to do? They're going to stay in that property. They do not want to lose that property. They're there, their furniture's there, their kids are there, they're there. Okay? So that is, the pride of ownership leads to a very low default rate. Now, no repairs or maintenance paid by you. Same thing. You're going to call the bank and go, hey, my heat pump tore up. They're going to come out right out of the way and fix that? GMAC, they're going to be right on that? No, they are not. Okay, so there is no repairs or maintenance paid by you. No taxes or insurance paid by you. Do you guys escrow here, or do your mortgage companies pay your taxes and insurance? Okay, so same thing. You're going to ask the owner of the property that's living there to pay the escrow, the taxes and insurance. So none of that's paid by you as the investor. It's all paid by the person living there that's buying the property. Now the property is then occupied. That's a very big advantage. If you're the bank, do you want your house empty or occupied? So thinking about like the bank, you want to have your property occupied. That's why you should take those deals when they come, because the market's tough out there and stuff sits for a long time. If you can move on a house and you're the bank, you should look at it like a banker and evaluate that and say, yep, I want someone in that property and occupy it. But the good news is there are a ton of referrals that come from that process. When a person buys these, we get a tremendous amount of our repeat customers from people that have referrals from people that have already purchased from us. So the end users are going to start telling other end users, hey, I bought this house, go over here, call here. And every day we get calls. And I would venture to say every single day we get calls from referrals from other people that bought houses from us. And our phone rings many times during the day, many times in the sales department. But many of those calls are from referrals, not off of the sign. They're calling from, hey, my brother Joe bought a house, and have you got any other houses in this area? We start looking for that and sitting in places. So a tremendous amount of referrals come from that also. And here's the only other difference. For $25.9 you get everything, remember. But here's the other additional option. If you'd like us to collect those rent payments for you, service those accounts, and also collect the escrows, so they'll collect the rent, collect the taxes, and collect the insurance for you, just like your servicing mortgage servicer does. We'd be glad to do that for you. It's a one-time setup fee of $500. Again, that's usually covered by the down payment. Okay, so you don't have to go out of pocket. We'll keep our upfront fee out of the down payment at the time it happens, and there's an additional 10% charge per month. So if we had a $400 a month rent like we talked about, it's $40 a month for us to do that. Okay?